Everybody, hello, everybody, hello. Irons, Russ and Anton from the West. Irons, Russ and Anton from the West End Network. Hope you're all safe and well. Irons, if you're new and give me a like, give me a comment, give me a share, give me a subscribe, all that good stuff. So we're going to do a little bit of a. Yesterday we had a few comments. No video today. No video tonight. No video tonight. No, we didn't, because we were all there. The first time in about how many months we were all at the stadium.
I think it was, for me, it's been November, maybe the end of October was me, actually. That was the last time I was.
Was it Man U or what? Was it the Man U game?
No, it was after that. I think I came down. It was Vienna, maybe. Was it Vienna?
I
can't remember.
Well, anyway, so we're all there. That's why we didn't do a review show. We didn't do a match day live, obviously. And that's the trouble. But anyway, so we thought we'd do it today with
Apologies,
yeah. And we thought we'd do that with match day ratings, and we'll sort of do it all together with a debrief, and we'll just fusion. So that's what we thought we'd do today. Anton's very tired. He sent me a photo about 8 o'clock this morning on the final leg, having got the sleeper train home. And slept on a chair for 5 hours, I believe.
Yeah, I upgraded at the last minute and got the sleeper train home. I was supposed to get the 5:30 train home, but I didn't get a bed, so I had to take a seat, and it wasn't the greatest, but it went all right. And I managed to get some shut eye, but it wasn't a lot. But hey ho, I don't want any sympathy because it's my choice. I live in Scotland. I support my club. I'll do whatever it needs to be done. And I came home.
Do whatever you like.
To 3 kids under the age of 5, of which one is a baby. So, hey ho, life's too short.
Life's too short, isn't it? But you still got there, innit? And as you said, you reckon you could do a night game now, no?
Well, actually, yeah. No, realistically, I think I can. 7:45 kickoffs are doable for me now, which I never thought they used to be. But yeah, they're doable. So yeah, I'm well up for it.
Well up for it. Anyway,
the missus might not be well up for it, but
there's a big caveat on that. Well up for it, yeah. As if the missus will let you in. Right, so we've got the chat, and then what we'll do is we'll do like a debrief. This is going to be a bit more loose than your normal player review, match day highlights, because Anton's a bit tired. I've been in the office all day as well, but we wanted to do something because we always do something. Win, lose or draw. We always do a player ratings, don't we, of some description, whether it's a lunchtime show, whether it's Matt and Jake. So we thought we'll definitely do something. So let's see what we got in the chat. We got Long Dark Tunnel, oi Savaloy, Will Stealth Cat. Right, this is going to be, today is going to be just about football, isn't it?
Cat-free zone.
Cat-free zone. Just like Zouma. I didn't say it. But that's it. But that's literally all we're going to do. We're not going to talk about anything outside of what was played at Watford, the Watford game, because that's been covered by everyone else, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Just get it out there, innit? Definitely won't be playing headers. I didn't see the question. Sorry, Long Dark. Bernie, good evening to you. I wonder if everyone else agrees with me that Bowen should be a shoo-in for England in the summer.
100 gazillion %.
The summer,
as in
as in the World Cup, But the only trouble is that Bowen, unfortunately, the next game isn't till it's March, isn't it? I think the next game, March the 26th. I think it's Saturday. I think it's a friendly.
Do you know what? As I do support England, but I'm also, for me, it's West Ham's first, and what? If he does deserve the call up, if he doesn't get the call up, I'm not going to be pissed off about it.
No, because it means he's going to have a rest, innit?
Yes.
And I tell you why I know that England are playing on the 26th of March, I believe, because myself and Mr. John Ratomski are doing a charity walk, the charity statue walk, we're calling it, from Wembley to London. Yeah, believe me, Button's going to be doing this. Wembley to London Stadium to the Bowling, the 3 statues of Bobby. And we're doing it for the Iron Sporting Food Banks. There'll be loads of links to support this. Me and John walking 17 and a half miles. It's going to take us 6 hours because I'd planned it for the 26th. And I think John said England are playing that day. So it's the week before. And the Sunday's Mother's Day as well. So I couldn't really do that because Mrs. Button would be happy. So we're doing a big charity walk to support the Iron Sporting Food Banks. That's about, in terms of the Easter egg appeal. And there'll be lots going out on all the socials coming up very, very soon. So that's why I know, you see. That's why I know.
Yeah. No, it's top notch.
Anyway.
Good effort.
Indeed. I haven't done it. I should probably start doing some walking, really, to be honest.
Well, you were doing it. You were doing it before. You were chatting before and you were on doing your steps.
It's only walk. Yeah, but it's only walking, isn't it? It's only walking.
It's a nice. Mate. Don't underestimate.
It's a nice walk though, because it's like, all through Camden and these,
I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. The comments. I can't take them serious. I can't. Honestly.
What we got?
I can't. I'm sorry. I know.
We're trying to be something serious. We're trying to raise money for people.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
Anyway, let's go through it. Come on, London's hello. Frano, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Father Snowman, good evening to you. Mike, hope you're well. Steve, hope you're well. Adam, Paul, there's loads of people in the chat. It's nice to see. Hello. That's Scott Venn, good afternoon. Super Chef, hope you're well. Check on Chef. Russie B, late. I know. I was talking to Anton. It's very unlikely to be late. The curse of Stelios. Grant, good evening to you. Everyone's talking to each other. Lovely to see. Yeah, we're not going to talk. Yeah, John, we're not putting that comment on because we're not going to talk about anything to do with anything else apart from the football. Anton's taking his glasses off now, which is good. Grant says, I thought I was an out of towner. Indeed. I mean, Anton, all the way from Bonnie old Scotland. Kimbo.
See, the thing is, though, on that, I genuinely don't push it because I don't want. It's not about sympathy for me. It's not about people. I don't want people to turn around and go, "Oh my God, you make that big journey." There's so many other people that travel from America. If you travel from America once, like, it's such an effort to do that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's mental, and it's all over the place. I mean, we've interviewed people from like the Indian Hammers, and all like we've got Darren from Thailand. You've got Kieran and all the Australian guys and Angus and all over the place. Mental. Right, I'm just going through. Good evening from the Isles of Sicily. Was it silly?
Silly.
Is it Sicily or is it?
You need to let us know where.
Which one? If it's Sicily, beautiful. Love Sicily. Anyway, so let's talk about the game. We'll talk about our ratings as well, or it's really my ratings, my thoughts, and you can agree or disagree with me, Anton, because you usually do. Obviously, you haven't been to home game for a while. Obviously, for a few months. Weird. It was a strange atmosphere yesterday, wasn't it?
It was.
Let's be honest.
It was. Do you know what? Like, going to the game and watching it on the telly is very, very different. Of course, it is. But however, you can always get a good, strong vibe of what's going on in the stands. When we had the first game back with all the fans back, when Leicester, you could hear the electricity. You could hear the electricity in the stadium. I had several people contacting me while I was at the game and after the game saying, "God, that atmosphere sounded edgy," and it was completely edgy. It was from the off. Obviously, things happening off the field, and all that probably just kind of took over. And to be honest, trying to bounce back from that, victory over Kidderminster. Just scraping through against Kidderminster.
Trying to bounce back from a victory, innit? It's weird.
Yeah,
when you think
but it was a bit like that because, you're coming up against the Roy Hodgson side and he is a new manager and if he really wants to dig his heels in, he'll do it. And that's what he did. He dug his heels in and the game didn't help Russ. The game was really quite boring.
It was
and that doesn't help the atmosphere. So yeah.
Well, as I text you, I got so bored. I figured out how to put the West Ham network on my Apple Watch. That's how honestly I was. Yeah. It was a boring game. It was a boring game. I mean, Roy. When you saw the team selection, basically he was playing 4 central midfielders.
Yeah.
So what do you expect?
Yeah. Just try and break us down and nullify any threat and play that kind of lying deep and going on the counter and the player who played their most counter-attacking football was Sissoko in the middle of the park, and I thought he was one of their best players. Several times he drove forward and he
He's a
drove
good
forward really
player.
well.
I've
He is a
always
good
liked the
player.
striker.
I have always liked him. Obviously, played at Tottenham and
Mm.
all that sort of stuff. But he's at Watford now, and I think you know what, fair play. If they're going to do something, I think he's going to be the kind of leader of what they're going to do. You can see he's levels above a lot of the players there, though.
Yeah,
you can see that.
definitely. No, you tell you right. It was just it was a strange. It was the whole. I mean, yeah, it was strange. As I said, as we spoke in the morning today, and it was like I was talking to a few of the club ambassadors, not ex players that day, the club ambassadors, and they were feeling a strange atmosphere as well. They were like they they Stuart Slater and George Paris and Jimmy Walker and Rufus and Kenny Brown and any more names I can drop. But literally they were all saying, a bit weird today, Russ, isn't it? What do you think? What do you so it's like it was a strange, and obviously as you said, the if anything hadn't happened before, and the Kidderminster game was such a strange game as well, and you got through, but we were gutted for Kidderminster that we got through. It was a bizarre juxtapositioning of emotions, and I think it was a strange game, but it was and then you knew what we were going to get with a Roy Hodgson team. Obviously we turned them over 4-1 at their gaff, but they had a different manager at the time, played a different formation, and these guys came in and obviously everything with Isla being the Isla tribute match as well. It was a real hodgepodge of it. It was a very strange game, very very strange game, and as you said, it didn't really it wasn't really set alight at all. It was like it was very ploddy. I thought the whole game.
100%. But you know what? I know we're going to go into the game in a minute, but you can't help but think that 2 years ago we would have been beaten in that game.
That's what we said for the last couple of games, isn't it?
But it's true, and I don't want people to keep thinking, "Oh, that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse." But it's true. Like you look at teams that progress and they don't play well and they win games. Not every game, not every week, but you'd rather that's not a bad position to be in.
No,
we didn't play well yesterday, but then again, Watford didn't play well, but we got the victory, and 9 times out of 10, the old West Ham would have got beaten that or drew that game, and it would have been such a flat. The atmosphere was flat, the game was flat, and the result would have been flat. But we came away with 3 points, and
we did. And obviously, I mean, the first half, pretty. I mean, to be honest, the first half was pretty uneventful. So much so I remember our video, like the guy does the videos, messaged me at halftime and said, "We've got one highlight. Do you want to play?" No.
Was that the Souček header?
That was the Souček header, I believe. Yeah. He says we've got one highlight. So the first half went with a damp squib, to be honest.
Well,
completely.
it was funny because where I was sitting or standing, I should say, and the crew we kind of hang about with, Wiggy turned up 18 minutes. He was in the stadium, but he never came to his seat until 18th minute. And I don't think, and nothing had happened in the game.
No,
and he was like, and I was slagging him off, and I was like, no, don't worry, you've actually missed nothing.
No, because literally, as soon as the game kicks off, I have to go to the toilet because so we go open the doors at about an hour and a half before. So I reckon about 2 hours before I'm at my desk. And so I don't go, so it's like 2 hours I can't go to the toilet, really. And then, so literally, and I went to the toilet, came back up, sat back down, looked at my phone, looked up, went, oh my God, 16 minutes has gone and nothing, and I've completely forgot about the game. It was just really, it was such a strange.
It really was. Something in the air.
It was something in the air. Fernando. It was.
And I know we're going to go into it, but even when we scored.
Yeah.
It wasn't the normal celebration because it took such a wild deflection, even though it was on target. I think Bowen will get awarded the goal, but the point of the matter was, I mean, I know he was cutting inside and doing what he was doing, but I didn't expect it. So when the goal went in, the celebrations around us were like, okay, let's, you know what I mean? It was odd. It was an odd day.
It was reminiscent of the Kidderminster game, I thought, where we were like, you and me were like, oh, we've still got a minute to go. Like thinking we'd still score, and it was like I had that feeling as well. It was like in that second half, we're going to get a goal, but it's because we came out second half a lot better. I thought, particularly they made the change quite early on in the second half, taking off Benny and putting on Lanzini, who really made a difference. And we've spoken about that before, how like. We knew how Roy was going to set up his team, but then again, when he picks Lanzini and Benrahma, he always seems to get him in the wrong way. This was a game where you wanted maybe Lanzini to start because it's finding those pockets, finding those little bits. Benny's better when the game's spread out; it's a little bit more loose.
Well, the
And
thing
he's
is, I actually think there's some players that are key to other players, and I think Lanzini seems to be key to Fornals and key to Benrahma. So, when we were looking at Lanzini coming off the bench, the chat around where we were was it going to be Fornals or was it going to be Benrahma? And
yeah.
not about being like I know it all, but I predicted it would have been Benny because I thought he just really wasn't getting into the game. He was really quiet and there was nothing really getting effective. I know he hit the post, I get that. But apart from that, I can't think of anything else that was overly great. And with Fornals, what you're going to get the work rate, cutting back and forth, working for the team, with a bit of creativity and bringing on Lanzini, then escalates that, like you said. I just I'm so there's a player that I'm so happy for is Lanzini
Yeah.
because a couple of seasons ago, a lot of people were totally giving up on him. He was gone. He was gone. But he's kind of pushed himself up now to be such a strong contender for one of the first names on the sheet. I mean, he makes a difference. He contends in the game. He drives West Ham forward, but he does it in that, ticky-tacky way, and he's a good footballer to watch. He's a good footballer, and he knows how to change the game, and he changed the game. He changed the game for the better.
Oh, he did. He seems to have found his groove again.
100%.
For a while he seemed to have found that groove, that mentality, that momentum again. For a fair period in his career where he's obviously been injured, he's come back in and he hasn't really just done it. But the last sort of this season, when he's been played, he does seem to just have that of his confidence, whether that's his extra fitness, whether he's put on a little bit maybe a muscle, so he's doing a lot more. He's getting in there a little bit more than usual. And it's making a massive difference. And he said he comes on, gets the assist technically, passing off to Bowen. Bowen takes a shot to outside the box, massive deflection off the Watford defender, and past the, what did Clips call him? The vlogging Victor Valdez, Ben Foster.
Yeah. But what a save! I mean, what a bloody save that was. A couple of good saves from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good goalkeeper, Ben Foster, isn't he? He's a good goalkeeper.
But I think when going back to Lanzini there for a second, like when he comes back deep to find the ball, he's constantly looking forward and thinking like, where can I spray this ball to? Sometimes it's simplistic, sometimes it's spectacular, but you feel like when he gets the ball, he can penetrate. And right now, because Benrahma's blowing hot and cold, you're not 100% sure if he's got the potential to be the world beater, but he's also got the potential just to give the ball away and or cross to no one and or shoot into Rose Ed. And that's what we're getting a lot. And I wonder if that pressure is kicked back in on Benny again. And then Benny's not found his, the pressure of when he was playing and he wasn't performing. And I think Benny probably is a run of games and a run of goals away from finding that form again, and he could find that form, which got him 5 or 6 goals earlier in the season, in quite consecutive games, and vice versa. But this is what the squad's about. Moyes relies on 14, 15 players.
Yep, something like that. Yeah,
and those 14 or 15 players, if it means that Lanzini's in his groove right now and he's playing really well, then cool. And ideally, what you really want, you want them all to be in their groove. However, if what seems to be working with West Ham is when Lanzini's not in his groove, Benny's in his groove, and that's not a bad position to be in. It's not ideal because you want all your players to be in the groove at the same time and you want more of them, but hey ho.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, we don't ever sit, and it's the same when we had our defenders as well. It was always when we had Bonner and Dawson and Diop and even Balbuena, really, when they were all there as a 4, it was always a case of sort of 2 were always in form and 2 were either injured or not in form, and it was like they were never playing at the same level. And it's the same with sort of the attacking players as well. I mean, Vlasic was having a good few games, but never really combined with Lanzi. Like 2 or 3 of them have a good are in the groove. We would turn teams over 3 or 4-0 because they are that good when they're firing all cylinders, but it never seems to happen. And obviously, Bowen got the goal, massive deflection. It was going the other way. It was going the other way completely. What's that? 3-2 Saint? Really? Because it went 2-1. Bloody hell.
10 minutes to go. Go on, say that.
Come on, Saints! Because Burnley did us a massive favour yesterday, didn't they? Drawing. Oh, come on, that's good. That's good. We'll keep an eye on that. I mean, I ever wonder if Russ has ever done a wee wee in a bottle while DJing. No, no, I haven't. Even on a reserve team game when I'm on my own, I could have had a little tinkle and no one would have known. But no, I haven't, unfortunately. But I mean, it is. We are winning ugly at the moment. We are winning. You know, as Martin says, 2 wins back to back. You know, and that's the way. They're fourth in the league. Next round of the cup, Southampton away. Although they're no mugs. You know, beating Spurs at the moment 3-2. It ain't a bad week on the football pitch. Football pitch,
2 wins in a row.
Yeah. I mean, again, a good point. Linesman, what was going on with that linesman today? Like the one sort of manager side, he was
ridiculous.
Appalling.
There was a couple of consecutive decisions where they brought down Coufal and brought down Antonio. They were clear as mud fouls, and he was giving fouls in the opposite direction, and then giving throw-ins and stuff like that. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Some really blatant stupid decisions, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what you can say about the referees.
It was strange. It was a very, very strange. I mean, the whole game was just strange. I mean, I remember the one where there was Antonio and I think it was Samir. They were literally wrestling each other right in front of the linesman, and then Coufal went right up to the linesman's face and got a yellow card for being aggressive or whatever it is. But yeah, it was a strange. It just added to the strangeness. You know, we had the light show, we had the fire, we had the bubbles, we had the new light show with all the. Oh, I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed it. Some people don't like it. Some people don't like it, but I like it because I see it about 20 times. So I see it so many times, but I thought it was quite good. I do like a night game now with the lights and things.
Yeah.
It's cool they do it. It makes it fun. Right, what we got here? Let's go through a few things. Yeah, 3-2 down. Don't matter if you have Russ. Think it's more about GP thinking about you doing it. Oh, the we. Okay, yeah, we go. Very good. Yeah,
each their own.
Yeah, exactly. Each their own. There's a market for it.
And on that point, Ludders, to be fair, the decision was wrong, but Coufal did go in on him. He went in on him. I think I've seen an image actually of him like this, right in his face, and I was like, do you know what? Like, wow, yeah. So there you go.
So what we like to do when I do my match day debriefs is I like to do some ratings. It's not as technical as Matt's one and Jake. We don't we have a little fancy screen, but that's it. But the idea is to get your views as well, everyone, and Anton's, because he rarely agrees with me on my ratings, and I quite like that because he likes to be challenged. And so, we like to be challenged because you can't grow unless you're challenged. Right, so let's start with this man, Fabs.
For me, after looking at the Areola performance in Kidderminster, I was really disappointed with Areola. He didn't open his mouth much, and I'm a big Areola fan, really big Areola fan. So I was really intrigued to see what Fabianski was going to do, and I thought he commanded his box pretty well. He made a couple of good saves. He then kind of there was one particular one he came out and he punched the ball right in front of the attacking player's face. It must have been an inch away from punching the boy, knocking him flat out. But it was the fact that he came for it and got it. And what I noticed was, if you think about going back to the Areola game where he came out to try and win that punch against Diop, but
my cam.
I know, I've just noticed it, but it didn't work. So fair play, Fabianski. Clean sheet. That's massive. That's huge. And for me, he kind of showed why he was probably West Ham's number one yesterday.
Yeah. No, he was. Yeah, definitely. No, I think he had a good game. There we go. In back. What a shame you get to see me now. I thought he played well. I think, I thought there, because I like to do a little note when I'm watching the game. I'm just like bloody like Tom Clark, or Roshane, write little notes. Check me out. I put immediately after.
Russ and I have a desk.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You're part of that lot. I'm
Yeah,
only
I am.
joking. I'm only
I
joking.
am. I got a desk. I got a desk. All right. I got a desk, and I've got like a telly, so I can watch the replays. So yeah, I do. But obviously, I was in the car park for about an hour trying to get out, so that's when I write my little notes. So for me, I mean, get everyone in the chat. Feel free to give us your ratings. Some although my spell check said some good sales. I mean, I think that means saves. But and actually, to be honest with him, I thought he dealt with a lot of, particularly from Zouma, and also from Cresswell. He had some dodgy back passes,
Yeah.
and Josh King and Dennis aren't slow people, so they
No,
put a
no,
little
no,
bit of
not at all.
pressure on him. And I thought he did quite well there. But again, I think where Fab always lets him down slightly is distribution. And there were several times where he was trying to do quick distribution, but he was almost trying too quickly, and we lost a lot of ball. I think in general. I would like to see. I'm going to have a look at the stats and look at the percentages of completed passes, because it wasn't great yesterday, particularly that first half. Very sloppy across the board. So I put him down for a 6.
And you know what? There you go. There's my first disagreement. I would have given him a 7,
There we go.
but it's
And
only a
that,
point of a difference. So
it's a point of difference. It's 6 or a 7. I put down a 6. For me, a 6 is a competent game. He made a great save in the second half, towards the end. But you would assume he would do. At the end of the day, someone like Watford, they're not the most free scoring team, so we should be keeping a clean sheet as a team. James has put 7.5. We don't get half points here. We just like Matt. We don't have to get half points. PCats is 7. Mandy's put a 7 as well. Spurs still losing 3-2, says Daniela. Brilliant. Fab almost as good as Roberto. I bumped into Roberto in Specsavers. Actually, he bumped into me. Very good. Very good. Nice to see. Hey, boom, 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 boom. Ariola's
70,
too hasty.
72% of the chat, because we've got the poll. The poll's on. The poll's on the YouTube. So if you see the poll, click the buttons. The choices are 6, 7, 8, and 9. 72% have gone for a 7.
So 72% of people don't agree with me. Well, there we go. That's even more so, because some people probably 8 anyway.
5% of people agree with you.
Yes. You lot, if you don't agree with me, hit the like button, because that means there's more people who don't agree with me than do agree with me. Anyway, let's move on, because we've obviously got everyone to get through. If Matt was here, he would have given him a 5. No, he wouldn't. Matt would agree with me, to be honest. I am harsh, Adam. I must say, I am harsher. If you watch my Matchday debriefs on a lunchtime show, or on a daily show rather, sometimes I am quite harsh. I'm quite harsh. I expect too much, maybe. This man, Coufal, what do we think about Vlad's game yesterday?
Me personally, it was a solid professional performance from him. It wasn't his best, it wasn't his worst. He did get forward, he did come back. There was a couple of times that they attacked that area and got through and created a threat. But I don't think it was anything to write home about. I don't think it was his best game. Like I said, I don't think it was his worst game. That's really where I put him, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I think. Some interesting scores in the chat. For me, I mean, what I always like about Coufal is there's always an option. He's always giving an option, and I think sometimes we don't. I mean, obviously, I'm in a very privileged position where I can see the whole fucking pitch. So literally, he gives an option pretty much 80% of the time. He's running in open space on that right hand side, and unfortunately, I don't think some of the players see him very often. To be honest, they're looking the other way. They're looking left, and actually, there's a big gaping hole on the right. And I feel sorry for him sometimes, because he does a lot of running which goes unnoticed because the play is going left and he's going right. But I mean, it was great. I mean, it was great to see him back there. I think he played all right. Played a good game. I think there was some, he got his dangerous crosses in like he used to. A little bit of nice interplay with Bowen, as there always is on the right hand side. They have a good understanding, the two of them. And so I put him down for a 7.
A 7.
7. Right,
7.
7. Toby's gone 6. Kimbo's gone 6. Mark's gone 6. Mandy's gone 4. Fair play. Cool, you are harsh, Mandy. 6. I think when a defence gets a clean sheet, for me, that's at least a 6 for the defence. unless they've been absolutely shocking and other people have got them out of jail, 6 is like for me. I mean, some people say 5's an average score. 6 is like an average score for me. I think Paul's gone 6. Ludden's gone 7. Because we're very similarly minded. 6-6, still struggling for his best form, says Steve. Hornswazzle 6. Clean sheet, James. 6, 7. 6 for Paul. I wouldn't wanted to give him a 4, says Jonathan.
That's because, Jonathan, we only gave you the option to vote on the poll 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we apologise,
5,
Jonathan,
6, 7. Like my rootin' tootin'.
But I tell you what, though, Russ,
Yep.
55% of people have gone for a 6.
Oh, really? Do you know, I've done my shouldering. Right, as I was walking out, anyone who's walking behind me would have seen this. I was walking back to the car, and then like crossed over where the pub is, the cow. Walking back to the car park, I proper stacked it, like proper like went over it, but like slow motion. I was like falling in slow motion, and then some bloke just went. So firstly, this lady went, "You're all right." I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then some bloke shouted, "Man down!" But I've done my shouldering.
Oh no! Spotty.
Oh well. Oh, 54. Oh dear. Well, points are, they go to 37 points, don't they? Is it 37? Yeah, it hasn't been updated yet. I did my shouldering trying to pee in a bottle. You see, GP? That's why. 2 for offside. Oh, it's been offside.
What is it?
I don't know. VAR. Yeah, I think it's VAR.
25% of people went for 7 for Coufal.
That's good to know. Right, let's move on. Dawson. Craigie Dawson, thoughts?
Mate, I just love the guy. I don't care what anyone says. Is the goal being it's offside? It looks like it's been ruled off.
Yeah, it's gone back to 3-2.
Sorry, I'm waking it up.
It's all got. All it needs is Tottenham to lose 3-2 at home to Southampton. He's anyone's. Yeah.
Right, Dawson, solid. No nonsense. Dealt with pretty much everything that came his way. A few times got caught out, but not a lot. But he just gave us a solid professional performance. I was really impressed with him. He was a threat going forwards. No nonsense in defence. And again, he doesn't surprise me. He surprises a lot of other West Ham fans. But he has been probably our most consistent defender for the last 18 months.
Yeah, no, I'd agree, man.
And
I'd agree.
People still can't believe he's there. But I tell you what, he's there and he's doing the job. He is doing a job. And this is he is a prime example. He's a prime example of a player that many teams would never have touched. But Moyes went, do you know what? I see something there and I think you'll fit our system. And it worked.
Well, I mean, particularly, he was playing against, obviously, his old team yesterday, weren't he? Watford. They're the team we got him on loan from, didn't we? Then bought him out in the summer. So, there's something weird going on at Tottenham. So I think it's 3-3. And then the fourth goal, I don't understand. I'm watching on the BBC website. It's very strange at the moment. But yeah, for me, I think Dawson is one of those guys. He's not spectacular. He never will be spectacular. But he was solid, dominant in the air. Obviously puts his body on the line. I mean, a great block from, I think it was Josh King in the second half, where literally he put his head in his foot. And we love those types of, that's reminiscent of Souček doing it in the same box actually against I think it was Spurs, where he got his face all cut up and stuff like that. No, I think Craig Dawson, when he's in the side, obviously, the only I can think of was a Newcastle game where it all went to shit last season away when he got sent off. But I don't think he's had a horrific game that sort of sits in the memory.
Yeah, I think the Newcastle's the biggie. But I think there's been a couple of other occasions that he has maybe struggled. But the thing that people need to remember is that, if you've got the defensive midfield protecting. I can. The funny thing is, in Long Dark Tunnel, I can see your comments, and I can see them there. You're saying you're kind of questioning me, saying Dawson consistent. Well, he is. He's consistently been in our team for 18 months, there or thereabouts. Yeah. And in the last 18 months, West Ham have progressed. Now, I'm not saying that's solely down to Dawson, but he's my word, he's one hell of a good reason as to why we have. He is slower on the uptake, but he has to read
Yeah.
the game a bit better. He does get stuck in. He's not scared of getting stuck in, but by doing that, can leave us a bit fragile on the back. But I can talk to you about many a times in our defence when you've got Diop, when you've got Augie, who have all stepped out this season as well and caused us problems in the defence. So that's why when I say consistency, then yeah, it's huge. And I think Spurs have officially lost the game.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's been sorted on the BBC website. Well,
boom.
boom, poor Tottenham. What you gonna do? Yeah, shame. What a shame. Oh, gutted from. Not. So I put Big Dogs for a 7.
Seven.
There's a lot of 7s. I warn people there are a lot of 7s here today. It's quite boring here.
Well, the chat's not boring, mate.
Chat is not boring. The only thing consistent about Dawson is his calamities, says Long Dark Tunnel. Wow. Oh, no, do not do things like that. Fuck, shit. Sorry.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm not laughing at that.
I'm laughing at the joke.
I'm laughing at
yeah.
tiredness. I'm laughing at
tiredness. Yeah. No. It's like, well, I felt sorry for West Ham clips today. I sent him a message. No good having games in hand if you ain't got the points on board. Indeed, Michael, I totally agree. Dawson always got karate kicked in the face. Indeed, fair play. Sometimes you need not. This is exactly the point, by Ryan. What I'm trying to make. Sometimes there's certain games where you need someone who's a no nonsense defender, and I mean, like Kidderminster on Saturday. It shouldn't have been Diop starting. It should have been Dawson starting because no nonsense. And I think yesterday as well, I think you needed someone because there's a lot of nonsense going on around everything else. You needed someone who's going to come on and be solid, not someone who'd, crumble under all the emotion and everything that was going on around the game. So, he was a professional, and I think he did a professional job. Yep. So I put him down as a 7. That's what I did. Top 4, here we go, says Dino. Woo, that'd be nice.
65% of people, Russ.
Yeah, they've gone 8.
I've gone 8.
Too generous. Dawson is. I mean, it's a good point, Adam. He says Dawson is our bargain of the last 2 years, even with the odd mistake. £2 million. Right, let's get on to Kurt Zouma. Thoughts on Zouma's performance on the pitch yesterday?
Yeah, pretty solid. I think he gave away one back pass that wasn't great.
Yes.
But I felt like every time he got the ball, he kind of wanted to distribute it away from him very quickly. But by doing that, actually worked for him yesterday.
It was a weird, yeah.
Yeah, and he played well, and he blocked a few things. He was solid.
Yeah.
Him and Dawson worked well together, as they have been. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I agree.
For the chat already.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, people don't allow their opinions. That's why we do this chat. But obviously, we're just talking about him on the pitch. I think he was distributing was quicker. Maybe because of him being booed every time, potentially, but it helped us out a bit because I think sometimes we do labour ourselves in the centre back positions and defensive. It's a lot of back cross passing back to each other. Didn't seem to happen so much. Solid, dominant in the air as always. On the pitch was a good. I put him down as a 7. I thought he was solid. And yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he was solid.
Ding 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 ding. We have the first agreement of this evening. I'm just waiting for the percentage to come up. 57% of people agree with you and have given him a 7.
Yeah, exactly. 7. So everything aside, easy an 8 from Mike, 7 from Mark, 8 from there. Conte gone in the summer. Conte's going to go. He's definitely going to go.
I think it's going to be because he wants to go.
Yeah, I think he's going to want out. I think he's just waiting for the Man U job. I really think. I know Pochettino is leaving PSG. But I think Conte wants that Man United job. I really do. 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, move on. 8, still an arse, took the stick, and a great performance. Yeah, fair play. 7. So 7, 7s, 8s. Yeah, fair enough. Right, let's move on quickly to the next player. Aaron Cresswell.
I think for me, he was pretty much the same as Coufal Solid professional performance. A couple of times he got down the wing, he put the balls in the box. And I think if Antonio was firing on all cylinders, or we had more players in that box, and Suchek maybe got forward a few more times, I think someone would have been on the end of those passes. Bless me.
Bless you.
So yeah, solid professional performance from him. And yeah, good on him, and the same as Coufal.
Yes. No for me. I thought Cresswell was good. Again, there was, we do miss his delivery off the left when he's not playing. That's for sure. I felt particularly first half he was a bit sloppy. I think the whole team were a little bit sloppy first half.
Yeah.
It seemed particularly. I think maybe because people like Cresswell play so consistently that if they have a slight dip in form, it's more obvious, it's more evident. If I don't know, someone else, I can't think of anyone now typically, but say someone's he's not playing particularly well anyway, and the mistakes, another mistake. But Cresswell's mistakes stood out a little bit like, say if Deck mislaid a pass, you'd be like, what? He's mislaid a pass. And that was me with Cresswell yesterday. I thought he played well, but I thought still some good crosses, but I thought it was an average game from Crest, to be honest. So, I mean, I put him down for a 6.
Ooh.
Mark agrees. That's all that matters. Mark agrees. Mark agrees
with you. Well, listen, the chat is pretty split. There is a favourite. It's 45% of people have gone with a 7.
7, yeah.
But 41% of people have gone with a 6.
Yeah, I'll take that. I think it's for something. It's on the line, isn't it? Really, it's. Pete Jones has gone for a 5. There we go. Might as well have Matty body snatch Russ. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Don't really understand that. Fair enough. Peppa Pichenko says 7 as well. Paul James has gone for a 7 as well. Very, very good. Horns was always gone for a 6. There we go. Right, let's move on. Let's go to Declan Rice. Thoughts on Basmati, Billy Bonds?
Listen, not his best game in a West Ham shirt, but absolutely by far not his worst game in a West Ham shirt.
No.
A couple of times there was a few errors made, which is not things you see. However, there was several times in the game that he drove the team forward individually on his own again that he does, and that kind of makes up for some of the other mistakes. But listen, we've got could go as far as saying one of the best players. I mean, I don't know if I want to make the big bold statement saying in the world, but anyway, certainly in Europe. In our team, and he is bloody phenomenal. He's such a joy to watch as a footballer. Tracks back, gets stuck in, chases the ball down, doesn't give up, never says die attitude. When the team's down, he gets the crowd up for it. He chases the ball, he gets the ball, and then he drives forward with himself and with the team. He looks for options. He can pass. He can skip by players. And that made up for a couple of, their average, not his best performance, but not his worst performance. I think me and Matt have always said, and when we were on, he's a solid, pretty much consistent. Sometimes for a while there, he was a consistent 9 and sometimes a 10 when we were rating him. And yeah, just phenomenal player.
Yeah. I mean, he sets such a high standard, doesn't he? He said it probably wasn't his best game, for sure. It wasn't his worst game either. So I'd say it was a standard Declan Rice performance, I think. The trouble was before, because the way Watford was set up, so centrally it was quite congested in that middle, very congested in that middle. And I think, he still dominated really in that sort of position, despite the fact that in essence there were 4 opposition, he still dominated. What have I put here? The pace of him, the second half particularly, I think it was Josh King, made a break, and it was still 70, 80 minutes, something like that. He was sprinting, and he kept up with him. And Josh King ain't going to slouch. And he's got a great turn of pace, Declan Rice. Something I don't think really like. But it's not necessarily a sort of an acceleration, but he just gradually, like a proper sprinter. It's like he just keeps going.
He's got big gaps between each of his glide,
And he didn't have much ball. It seemed he didn't do as many of his commanding runs that he's been doing recently, but it might be because just the congestion of the central midfield position was so much. So I put him down for a 7. Because to be honest, Declan Rice usually He's usually at. Paul says 7, right? Ludder says 7. 8 from Mark. Mandy says 7. Kimbo says 8. Dark Tunnel, an 8. Michael's gone for a 6. Pepper Pig Jingo, which always makes me laugh. 7, looked a bit jaded. Yeah, I think he looked a bit. He did look a bit tired. I think maybe, or not tired, but I think he had a lot more off the ball running to do than usual. It seemed it did seem there was a lot more defensive work for him this today. Yesterday, Deckers has gone for Toby's gone for 8. Black Country's 8. GP has gone for an 8. Mike Theory's gone for a 6 for the first half, 7 in the second half. I think everyone played better in the second half when Lanzini came on. Rice makes Souček look very average. Fair enough. Rice outstanding, but lower for his standards. 8 from Jonathan. It's so true. I mean, he's the driver. He's, I mean, I know, West Ham Clips calls him the Basmati Billy Bonds, but he reminds me. I mean, I wasn't around to see Billy play, but obviously I was around to see people like Scott Parker play, and how he literally carried that team. I know he went down, but he carried that team in that season, and there's shades of it. There's shades of almost him going, fuck it, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to do it on my own. Fuck it. And I love that. I love that.
100%. 48% of people in the chat agree with you and give him a 7. Yes. 35% of people went for an 8.
Yes. Right, let's move on. Not Trevor Brooking yet, indeed. Not Trevor Brooking-esque yet. But he's 22, 23. He's played over 100.
I think he is, yeah.
23. He's played over 150 games for us. That ain't a bad showing, and hopefully a few more to come. Right, Thomas Souček, thoughts on potato salad?
Pretty much most of the things I said about Declan Rice, except for this time he done a lot of the defensive work more than what Deckers did. So, I think he had not his best game in a West Ham shirt again, but not his worst game in a West Ham shirt. But he didn't. He kind of went back to the under the radar role. Where Deckers done. When we had to drive forward, Deckers done. Even though he never done it loads, he had to. But there was a couple of times where Souček did get into the box. He had one chance in the first half, and there were several times defensively that we cleared away quite a few of the set pieces that Watford had, and I think at some point in the game they had quite a few corners and etc. And he was always there, kind of winning or knocking the ball away, just doing all the underlying dirty work. But not his best game in a West Ham shirt. So similar to Dex, but maybe Dex, emulated him a little bit.
I'm the same, and I mean I put Souček down for a 6. Solid. He got stuck in, did a lot more of the donkey work than he usually does. It seemed. But again, I think it was a factor of the formation, and the fact was there was a lot more people in the midfield to be tackling. Makes it, and his distribution again was a bit poor. Several times there was like these raking balls he tried, it just didn't work. And there was quite a few mislaid passes. I mean, someone made a good point in the chat. That's quite underwhelming at times, and I think he looks tired to me. I think Thomas Souček looks tired.
I think yesterday's game. I think to be honest, what we saw yesterday was Roy Hodgson defying the physics of football and going, let's ruin this game for the fans. Let's ruin the atmosphere. I'm not saying that's how he goes into that game, but that's what his tactics is exactly what it was. Let's ruin everything. Let's make it a very awkward day at the office. It doesn't mean that we're going to be able to do this every week, but we've just came off the back of a really bad loss against West Ham. So what can we do? Nullify their midfield threat. We can't nullify the threat, but what we're going to do is make it just awkward for them. Make it awkward for them.
And I think to be honest, I think the what's the right word? The trouble. I think a lot of managers come to London Stadium with that idea.
Yep.
At the end of the day, we're playing at a standard now that we expected to win yesterday. To be honest, some of us expected to win comfortably, and then others were like, "Well, we're going to win, but maybe 1-0." And I think, obviously they were right. But I think for after 20 minutes or so, if a team comes out of the, because obviously notoriously we start slowly and finish better than we started, and it's almost like managers know that now. They've almost figured that out. So if they go and really fucking have a go for the first 20 minutes, we're not on their back, but the place is quiet. It's so quiet when like that first half, apart from the 7th minute with Isla, it was pretty quiet most of the game really. So and I think that's what they try and do. I mean, people sort of silence the crowd, but it does seem at London Stadium, it does get silenced very, very quickly. The euphoria starts very quickly. Come on, yeah, we fucking do it after about 20 minutes. Oh fucking hell, we're on to half time, and that's what Roy. And he's an old manager, so that's what he expects to do.
50% of people disagree with you and gave him a 7, but 40% of people agree with you and gave him a 6.
Yes.
How you doing, Dan? Hope you're well, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great. Thanks for yesterday, Dan. Much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very kind of you. I'm sure you it was all down to you drawing against Man United, but thank you, Dan. Very, very good. Right, it's Pablo. Let's talk about the fornicator.
Listen, I love the guy. I think he's came in for some harsh criticism as of late. I don't see anyone who performed really well in the first half, but he got a bit more lively when Lanzini came on, and everyone did get a bit more lively when Lanzini came on.
Yeah.
But listen, I love the guy. I think he's another one that goes under the radar, does a lot of the dirty work, does a lot of the donkey work, and every now and then he comes up with like some creative Spanish, fantastic, beautiful, sexy football that he can do. But Moyes has turned him into this gritty pit bull terrier who doesn't want to give up in the midfield, and that's what you get when you get someone like him on the park. That the reason why you take him off or take Benrahma off is because, or vice versa, is because one can give you something a little bit extra, can give you a little bit of fight, and that's what he does. So I think in the first half, extremely quiet, so he would have scored quite low, but his score would have gone up in the second half because he did work well alongside Lanzini. In actual fact, Fornals allowed Lanzini to do what Lanzini had to do. And there wasn't too much interlinking play. There was a little bit, but it wasn't as much as what it usually was between the two of them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Fornals, I mean, not necessarily his energetic best. I think he was, again, Roy Hodgson, I think that, again, I keep going to about his formation, but he really did nullify that sort of midfield area. It really, really did, particularly even the attacking side, I think, to be honest. And so, yeah, he grew into the game. I totally agree. He grew into the game as the game got going. I put him down for a 6 because I thought it was a good game. I wouldn't say it's exceptional. I wouldn't walk away going, "Oh, Fornals was phenomenal," but he was solid. And his energy. When he doesn't play, it's the energy you miss, and so he's so important.
He was a player that last season, or maybe just the season before, I saw why West Ham would substitute him, or he would be the player why you wouldn't start on specific games. And I've seen some people particularly dig out Fornals this season.
Yeah,
extremely harsh in my opinion. He's been up there as one of our fantastic players in and around that position.
Yeah.
But I think his first half performance, because everyone else in the first half wasn't great, so their scores were all lower, and then they had to work in the second half to get a higher score. And I can understand that. 50% of people have gone for a 7 in the chat. 26% of people have gone with a 6.
Fair enough. I mean, I think Jonathan made a point, and also Duzzy here as well. They speak about I think, and we spoke about this at the quick review show we did after the Kidderminster game. For me, Fornals, he has just had a kid, and I think people forget. Oh, he's got his 90 minutes, and he's a footballer, and sometimes things that happen outside have an impact, so to speak. Yeah, and for me, Fornals, he has just had a kid, and so he is getting no sleep at all at the moment, and so maybe he's not his energetic best, but he seems to be, maybe getting back into the groove a little bit. Maybe the kid's sleeping through a little bit. I mean, Lanzini's just had a kid as well, so expect that with him as well. Right, Benny. Let's talk about Benny.
blows hot and cold. He's been
Yeah,
blowing cold for several weeks. Obviously, he's not been there with AFCON, etc. Never, not a great performance. I thought the performance against Kidderminster was an opportunity for him to rise to the occasion. He didn't do it yesterday. Did he rise to the occasion? No, he hit the post. That was really it.
yeah, mm,
He didn't like the game. I didn't set the game alight in any way whatsoever. I was really disappointed in him, but I've got faith in him. That's what people need to understand. It doesn't mean I give up on him as a
yeah.
player, because I do think he is a confidence player. I don't think he likes getting substituted, but I
No,
think if he's there for the team, then that's what he's got to do. And the substitute was right, and it came at the right time because Lanzini did make the difference. So I think the reason why Lanzini didn't start the game was obviously because we heard through the press conference that he had a bit of an Achilles issue,
yeah,
but
yeah,
obviously he was fit enough to come on at some point. And I've always said to you, Russ, that I think Benny and Lanzini share a position in the team.
yeah.
I think there's the potential that both can be impact subs, but equally both can start. And if Benny is on form, then you play him. And when he's not on form, Lanzini's on form, and that's not a bad position to be in when you've got these two
No,
players there. But not his
no.
best game, absolutely not his best game in the West Ham shirt. It wasn't
No,
great.
I agree. I mean, a couple of shots, as he'd hit the post. Um, it wasn't, but again, it's like the game was tight, the space was tight. So that's what we were saying at the beginning. For me, if Lanzini hadn't had this Achilles injury or whatever knock he's got, he would have started instead of Benny, and then maybe if we were 1-0 up, 2-0 up, and Watford are chasing the game, then you bring on Benny for Lanzini because the game's stretched and he's better in the unstructured nature of football when it's a bit frantic. That's
Yeah.
when he comes into his own. And yeah, it wasn't his best game. I mean, looks a little bit off the and he got substituted and he turned, he went, oh, and he started walking, and then he realised that it was still like 30 minutes to go, and then he ran. It was almost like, I don't want to be substituted. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I mean, I put him down as what did I put him down as? A 6. I think he played all right. Again, he's hot and cold. You're totally right, and sometimes, and you sort of, he does give the ball away quite a bit. But then, as you said, then the next second he'll do something and beat 3 men, and that gets us off our seat. And I like players like, yes, I like Craig Dawson's, who are solid and and very famous, do their stuff and and they're sort of A B C D. A bit like Souček, A B C D. He wouldn't
Yeah.
beat 4 men and curl it into the top corner, Souček, but Benny could, and I think you need that little bit of flair, a little bit of unpredictability in the team.
Well,
What are you laughing at?
48% of people have gone with a 5, but 45% of people have gone with a 6. So it's tight.
Oh,
So 5 or a
tight.
6 people have gone with. Yeah.
Very tight, very tight. Right. Okie dokie. Let's move on. Let's go to who we got next. Bowen. Jared Bowen. Thoughts on Mr. Bowen? England's Jared
Listen,
Bowen.
I mean, I'm going to throw up some stats for you going along the bottom there. Goals and assists by English players in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. Bowen, 14. Mason Mount, 13. Abraham, 13. Trent Alexander-Arnold, 12. Mavididi, 11. Saka, Vardy, Gallagher, other players, 10. His game by numbers yesterday at Watford, 100% shooting accuracy, 60 touches, 5 aerial duels won, 2 dribbles completed. It was the most in the game. 2 chances created. That was the most in the game. 2 shots on target. And I don't know what the Inter part is. I don't know why that's not gone up. So there's, and then obviously got 1 goal as well.
Yes. I mean, he is on a level at the moment. Isn't he? He's on a level.
Yeah.
Even when he does a shot which would have been saved by Ben Foster, he's you make your own luck in football. I really believe you make your own luck in football. He's playing at such a level now. He's playing so well that even when he gets a deflection, it goes in. Do you know what I mean? Because that shot weren't going in. Ben Foster, that was going to hit the post, or he was going to save it because he was going that way already. The deflection took it in, and you were just like, oh, it's Bowen. And then straight after that, he almost got one, didn't he? Again, where he cuts inside and he wraps it and it's the post. He's just on fire at the moment.
He's quite difficult, even though he's going to shoot with his left foot, because he can shoot with his right as well. But when he shoots from his left, and do you know what? He is a little bit like Aaron Robin. Like you can see the similarity. Yeah, you can see the similarity, the way they run, the style of way that they run. But when he shoots, you don't know if he's going to curl it round the keeper's inside. You don't know if he's going to smash it through the outside. You don't know if he's going to put it in the top corner. You don't know if it's through the middle of the park. You don't know if he's going to chip it. Very tough to predict. That's why the save that Ben Foster made is really, really good save. Fingertip
Yeah,
save. Like, it was such a good save.
yeah, no, definitely. I think for me, I just think he's playing at a great level at the moment. So, I mean, I haven't got it on here, but I put him down as an 8 because I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was my man of the match
Yeah.
yesterday because I thought he just had so much. He just offers so much as an outlet now, and he's just wrapped in confidence. And as Jonathan said, he's on fire. And even when he was getting nullified a little bit, there was almost like they knew that, in essence, they had a central midfielder on him. He wasn't winning a lot of, but second half, what they did a lot more was Souček was taking when Fab was doing a goal kick, he was hitting it to Souček, who was nodding it onto Bowen, rather than Bowen having to contest with the left back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, and then he had a lot more ball, and it was just a lot. It was a clever little thing there, but it was just, I was quite impressed. But I put him down as an 8.
57% of people agreed with an 8. 31% of people went with a 9. I don't think the game, from me personally, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, had a 9 in it because the game was pretty crap. But fair play. Bowen's fantastic. He's on form. And he's
yeah, and I agree with it. With Long Dark Channel says, I would like to see them switch a little bit more now, because I just think it gives both Antonio and Bowen different opposition to run at as well. And I think sometimes, particularly their left back was quite strong, particularly against Bowen. If you'd moved Antonio out there, it would have been maybe a bit of a contest, and also wouldn't necessarily have meant you do that long looping ball for him to chase. So Antonio to chase and run past the central. He might be a little bit ticky tacky and stuff like that. But what do we think about Antonio? We've only got a couple of players left.
Antonio, I feel sorry for because I think he gets another hard time from a lot of fans. But I think what I did notice with Antonio yesterday was he didn't really do a lot of his hold up play. In actual fact, when the ball came to him, he had his back to goal, which is what someone of his size can do. But he kept taking his first touch, and his first touch was trying to ping it round the defender. But because he's not got the greatest of touches, the ball was always landing a metre ahead or 2 meters ahead of them, and he was always losing the ball at that point. So he was getting frustrated. But all at that point we really needed Antonio to do was to literally trap the ball and muscle the defenders off of him, and then play in the other player, and then just dart forward. But yesterday was a weird Antonio performance for me because it's not what we see a lot of. He kept trying to do curling one touches around the player to then dart round the other side, but it never paid off for him. But then equally, there wasn't a huge amount of it just wasn't a day at the office for a player like Antonio, to be honest. And I think if he hadn't have played yesterday, I could have understand why we went with a false 9. But on the plus side, as what Long Dark Tunnel was just about to say, his position play is excellent. You can't deny it. You can't deny whether he is physically on the ball, not having a great game. Off the ball, defenders hate him. They absolutely hate him, and they would have hated him yesterday.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, the thing is, particularly Watford, I really like Samir, or Samir, depending on how you pronounce him, the centre back. I think it was Udinese. He's some guy that I actually said we should go for during the end when Ogbonna had gone out. Just mentioning he's left-sided centre back. But I think he's a great player. And I think you're right. I think he's a strong lad as well. And Antonio, I think it was a good tussle. I think where was the comment? I think Garino said problem with Antonio is not Antonio, it's how we play. And I really agree with that sometimes because we particularly with Dawson, a lot of high balls. There's not really much. He plays better when he does that sort of looping ball over the top, and he can chase. And when he chases, he's dangerous. When he tries to hold up, he can't hold up. That's the way I always see Antonio. He's better when he's facing goal rather than he's back to goal.
Yeah.
Some forwards are better back to goal than they are actually facing the goal. That's how they play. But I gave him a 6. He got kicked to shit. He did. He got kicked to shit. Shit. he loses the ball for my liking too many times, and he's trying to be too pretty yesterday, and he's best when he's a bulldozer and he's a battering ram,
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
it.
47% of people have went with a 5. 39% of people went with the 6.
Yeah, exactly. Glad he's got a few days to rest up. Yes, indeed. I mean, I think it's fair to say. I think the international stuff. It's great that he's playing international football. Fair play. But I think it's if he was 23, 24, now he's 30, he's not an old fucking
Yeah,
old. He's old in foot. In normal life, but in footballer's life, he's 31 now. A
yeah,
man who always relies on physicality. I mean, Teddy Sheringham played to his, was he 38, 39 when he played with
yeah,
us,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he never relied on physicality. It was all in here, and that's not in here. It's down below for
Yeah,
Antonio, and it's his shoulders, and it's his and it's his physicality, and I think it does take it out of him a little bit. I think.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, right, last one, Lanzini. We don't usually, obviously we don't tend to do the sub sometimes, but obviously Lanzini came on and changed the game, changed the game
Yeah,
for me.
impact sub. Done the job. Came on. We all know what he does. We've said it at the start. He can drop deep, get in those little cheeky spaces, can penetrate the defence. He's a clever little footballer. He gets stuck in as well. He's not scared of a tackle. He doesn't shy away from a tackle. But he opens up West Ham. He opens up space and he finds those passes that get West Ham and progress West Ham forward. He's different when we think back to when we had Lingard. Lingard was the connection between West Ham driving
Mm,
forward a lot. Lanzini does it in a different manner. Lingard was very direct. Lanzini can do it in a roundabout way, but do something extremely similar. I'm just so pleased for Lanzini. He's always been a favourite, but I'm not going to say he's always been a favourite of mine. He's been a favourite of probably a lot of West Ham fans,
yeah,
and everyone's always wanted to willing him on to get back to where he was when we had Payet. And I think now he thrives upon the creativity we've got in that midfield, even when the likes of Benrahma is not performing. He's still creative, and I think Lanzini works well with players like that. Fornals, Bowen, Benny, all players like that really help players like Lanzini move
yeah. No,
forward.
I think me with Lanzini, I think he's just he said he's in the groove at the moment. He's found this right position. It was the deep lying central midfield player that he played. I think it was Burnley. He played in that position, and now it's back to a number 10 really. And I think I don't know what it is. Whether it is maybe he has put a bit more bulk on. Whether he's worked on his fitness or something like that. He just seems to be you know I wouldn't necessarily back to his best because I think his best was when he was with Payet, but he definitely does seem to be playing at a better
Oh,
level
I
than he
don't
has
know,
been playing
Russ.
for
I mean, I
ages.
don't know, Russ, mate. Like, I know he was phenomenal when he was with Payet, but he's different. But he's back to I mean, look at where we are, consistent, and he stepped up. Fair play to him. He stepped up when we've needed him. I mean, he wasn't stepping up for the last couple of years, but this season in particular, I mean, he's become such a what, number 3 on the team sheet, or one
Yeah,
of the first names that go on the team sheet, and I still can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm delighted for him. And I think when I think of the goals he scored this season and the things he's done and how he's driven the team forward, he's his impact is as equal as the amount of what he gave to us when he was under Payet.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And I think you're right. I think he plays better when I think him and Fornals as a two play better than maybe him and Fornals and Benrahma. I think they see as you said, it seems to click at the moment between them two. I mean, Fornals is I mean, they were all better players. I think when Lanzini came on, just was that, and it was the right game for him because he can find a pass, and if not, he can put his foot on it and have a bit of a run. And he doesn't necessarily do all the tricks and flips that Benny does.
Yeah,
But this game didn't really need that. This game needed someone to just put a foot in the pass and threw balls through for the likes of Bowen, for the likes of Antonio to run onto. So I put him down for a 7. A 7 for me. A
ding, ding,
7 for
ding,
me.
ding. 50% of people agree with you, mate, with a 7, and
Not
46% of people
too
have gone with an
bad.
8.
Not too bad. And that's it. And that's it, really. I mean, there's a point I started it because I thought it was a really good question, and we'll finish on this because we've got work in the morning. Um, why do you think so many of our players are off form at the moment? $1 million question.
I, I, I think we, I think we are. a full blown team. Like we're Moyes has created this thing with West Ham that we are not as an individual. We're not, what is it they say? Ride together, die together. Bad boys for life. It's a little bit like that comment that you make in that film. I watched it actually watched it in the train going down yesterday, coming down to the game yesterday, and it's so true. Like the team seemed to ride together and then die together. No one takes the blame. You could see that yesterday by how players were geeing up other players because of things that were going on off the field and stuff like that. So there is that kind of mentality. I think that when we are not playing well, or individuals aren't playing well, but we still get a result, that's because the team are there to work with. And there's absolutely, I agree with that comment, there's not enough to rotate with, but Moyes is taking that risk with the 14 or 15 players he's got the trust in, because he blatantly does. He's literally, nobody in the right mind would sit there and say, I've got loads of choice, because he knows he doesn't, but he's just never going to bring players in for the sake of it. He's never done it in his career, and he's never going to do it.
I think you're right. I think there's some positions. I think I was looking at it. I think including all the Europa League games, the Carabao, and I think the FA Cup. I think we've played 30 players this season, but don't forget most of obviously things like the Europa League game. We had 6 or 7 under 23s play. So take them out for example. It's only about 20 odd players he's played with all season, really. And even that, if you looked at the actual number, take out people who played one game. As you said, there's going to be that 14 or 15. And you're right. I think that's his team, and that's who he stands behind. I mean, obviously, there was on the bench, there wasn't any of the youth team players. It was a full senior squad, so to speak. There was no Alesi, there was no Okaflex, all that type of thing. And so he does stick with what he knows. So I think it's one of those things. I think we looked tired. I think we always looked, but I just think. But then the players, I think, look tired. Generally, always look tired. I mean, Antonio looks tired after about a minute. Just the way he holds himself, and I think Souček's the same. He's quite gangly, and so he looks tired, but he's generally not. But he just looks it. And I think you look for it. Because of Kidderminster games, that we go, look, they look tired. Yeah. Some of them have played 120 minutes on the Saturday, and now they're playing another 90 minutes on a Tuesday. That's a lot for some, even for professional football players. It is a lot.
But that makes me, when we left the game yesterday, heading back to one of the pubs we went to, we were talking about it.
One of the pubs.
I think, the one pub we went back to, I should say. And I nearly missed my train by 2 minutes. But anyway, that's another story. I was saying that I thought there was going to be a change yesterday. I thought Antonio wasn't going to play. I thought it would be Bowen up top and whatever. We'd look at other options. That didn't happen. But if there was a game that we're going to change it, it would be Leicester away, Leicester at Leicester. Because if you think back to Project Restart, that was the game that we changed the formation and we went back to a back five with Creswell sitting in the middle of the three. When we then went and beat them for whatever it was back then, 4-1, 2 seasons ago.
4-0? Yeah, it was 4-0.
And then we went back again and done it 4-1 this season, or at home it was 4-1 this season. But for me, I think I've lost the train of thought. What was I even saying?
Okay, well, we can talk about that because actually, we're probably going to be talking about this on the Daily Show tomorrow in terms of of Sunday. And I know this is a Zouma free zone, but obviously on Sunday there's conflicting reports about who's going to be available, who's not going to be available on Sunday. That's true to say, isn't it? Yep. We're going to do a proper show about it tomorrow lunchtime, about the options, and whether it is Diop, whether it's a back three with Cresswell or maybe Ben Johnson, or is Declan Rice put into centre back, or there's loads of options we can go with. But do you freshen it up for Leicester?
I can see it. I can see something changing, possibly. That shows how we are able then to switch and utilise the squad. Because if you do put someone like Creswell in the back three, it's not a bad decision because he can play there. And people dig out Diop and have been digging out Diop, and rightly so because he's not been playing fantastic. But again, that goes down to the fact that he's got no support beside him. The minute that Diop came into that side, when Zouma and Ogbonna thing happened, we then lost Creswell.
Yeah.
And then we had Ben Johnson playing out there, and then we had Coufal playing out there, and then we had Longello playing out there one day, and it was chopping and changing week in and week out, and Masuaku was playing out there, and the inconsistency doesn't bode well for a player like Diop because he's a confidence player, so he needs someone equally as confident, someone who is over the top confident beside him to play and guide him as a player. But if you don't have that, then that's what's going to happen. So if things are going to change on Sunday, and he does change it, then I could see the 5. I could see the 5 for the first time this season.
Yeah. It's a good point. I know Jack makes in the chat. This is a Zouma free zone today. We'll talk about it tomorrow a little bit. But I understand what you mean. Although for anyone who's just a bit of a promo, not about West Ham, but Jack's got Johnny Knoxville on the podcast tomorrow. So make sure you check it out. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Johnny Knoxville. That's
absolutely
pretty good. He's smashing. He's got Rob Brydon on next week, I think.
I know. I seen that. Yeah.
Smashing it. We always love you, Jack. And that's it, really. And that's it today. As I said, we'll be back for the Daily Show. Not lunchtime, no. The Daily Show tomorrow, probably about 12:30ish. It's the same slot, but we're calling it the Daily Show now. That's what we're doing. Rebranded it. It's a rebrand. They've changed the badge, your fault. No, it's a rebrand. The Daily Show.
Be kind, be brave, be loved.
Indeed. So that'll be done. And Johnny Knoxville's a hammer now. Yes. Although apparently, I was on TalkSport. I was listening to TalkSport, and apparently he's an Arsenal fan. So he didn't do a good job there.
Come on, Jack, mate, get it sorted.
Very poor. Can he play centre back? Johnny Knoxville said, I've seen him do the Royal Rumble the other day, so there we go. Yeah. Anyway, as I said, we'll be back here 12:30 talking about the Leicester game, about the selection for Leicester game. We'll obviously have the preview on Saturday night.
Saturday night is the plan, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be better actually. Saturday, if we both do that. That'd be good. Because I'm going out for a curry with the boys on Friday night. What? Out. Yeah, Mrs. Buns let me out for one night only. So that'd be nice. So yeah, we're back for the lunchtime or the Daily Show. Idiot.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
The Daily Show tomorrow. The Daily Show. People call it the lunchtime show, and we'll be back tomorrow. So if you liked what we've done, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Seen lots of new faces and new names. Please, like and all that. We're on the road to 20,000.
Yeah, let's
10,000. 20,000, indeed.
20.
Don't forget
20.
also 20. We're on the road to 100,000, a million.
We've got 10 more months to get to 20. That's what we want.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And also, don't forget, this is Russ is doing 17-mile walk with John Ratomski. Why the fuck? I thought it was a good idea until I put it into Google Maps this morning. It's going to take 6 hours. There's a few pubs of the way, so it may take a little bit longer. But anyway, we'll be doing loads of stuff. There'll be, you can donate to Irons Food Banks at UK, and we'll be doing a big push in the next couple of weeks. The 19th of March for the Easter egg appeal for make sure everyone gets all the kids get a little Easter egg who obviously can't afford it. Anton's put his glasses back on. I'm going to put my glasses back on now because we're finishing the show.
We are.
Oh, God, it all steamed up. That's the trouble. I had to wear a face mask yesterday on the train, didn't I? So my face was all. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, give a like, a comment, give a share, maybe become a member. As always, I'd like to thank all our lovely channel members in the chat at the end of each show. So take care, everyone. Take that timer off. Anyway, from myself and take it off. From myself and man, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Come you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Peace out. Much love.
Irons.
Irons. Oh, I was doing hashtag. Sorry. Yeah. Irons. Irons. Love you. Bye-bye.
It's like a family tree. Part of you and part